Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pyramid 4. This is Dave Johnson. I am going to talk to the Law of One today. If you hadn't had the chance to take a look at the Law of One, you can watch some various videos. There's also a book about it, although it'll take a whole summer or winter to read. It's really good, though. It's just full of material. Again, this is about the Law of One. I'll tell you in advance, I do have one question for Law of One, and that's about the artificial intelligence that's being created. Right, I just had an experience on Facebook, which is really quite disturbing. I was only able to leave a message if I took a survey, right? I was just commenting, but I know that AI and there's like Google Chat is a concern now. So that's just one question I'm letting you know. Yeah, I'm seeing certain shapes in the sky. Sometimes it's like a figure eight. Sometimes it's like just a very unusual sort of shape, like it's a sort of wavering circle. It calls me forward. A figure stands in front, and he kind of looks like maybe like Socrates or something. And it's just clear that this is the speaker. Oh, he says his name is Aeschylus, but he's just a speaker. Okay, I'm gonna ask Aeschylus to speak through me. It's a little bit more complicated. It's very geometric, what I'm seeing. It's like two sides meeting, and I'm cleaving my way through the middle. Or should I say it's almost like I'm being shown a way through these dimensions. Get me ready to speak. Hmm. All right, I am ready. Good people of Earth, we are the Law of One. Our representative is one who's familiar somewhat to you. His name is Aeschylus, and he is the one who wrote the plays. It is also important for you to note that this figure is just a sort of speaker for all of us. This figure, Aeschylus, was in touch to some degree with the Law of One. He was a sort of worker, messenger type person, and that is why he is here today. He is our sort of contact with the human race at an earlier time than recently. And there are many things to tell you about the Law of One. It is also wise to read the book and understand its precepts. This is just an addition to such materials, and we wish to tell you many things involved in this. It's a little bit different because there is no interlocutor today. No one is asking these questions. It's just Dave speaking, and he's kind of on the side here. So we will do our best to address concerns that we think are important in understanding the Law of One. First of all, the Law of One is that everything is connected. Everything is part of the life. There is no exception. Even the forces which you would consider negative or dark are part of the Law of One. The forces that appear negative, that are not all what you might call light, pure light, are shades of gray and darkness to contrast what is truly in existence. Realize that you would not be able to exist as humans. You would have no purpose if you did not make choices. If there weren't a choice between the dark and the light, this would simply be an existence without any being, an existence without any action. It may seem inappropriate or disturbing to you that so much is here, that is so many different shades of gray, so many different kinds of darkness that appear before you. It might seem as some kind of cruel punishment, as a sort of sadistic God who forces us to experience these negative things just because of its entertainment value. This is not the case. You have all engaged in a pact to learn, to move forward, and to have some difficulties in your life. And for those of you who have great difficulties, we do not say that you are not suffering. We do not say that this isn't harm or harmful. We do not say that the persons who are doing this to you are right in your terms. We say that if you are careful, if you look back at the origins of when you decided to come to this earth and do these things, you will notice that you really wished to experience a great deal of what you call drama. It's not a end of the world situation, it is just drama. It is things that are so engaging that they move you in emotional ways. This is normal. There are things that are so engaging they compel you to make decisions that you wouldn't make if it were easy, if you knew all the answers, if you had total clarity. You must grope around in the dark as a human being, and we empathize and understand the difficulties with your mission. It is one of the most difficulties in a human experience just to be on Earth. It is simply a very difficult school because it involves emotions, it involves harm, it involves witnessing of harm to others, and this also moves you emotionally. Sometimes humans can become so wrapped up in the experiences around them, they cannot step outside of them and see what they are. Why am I experiencing this? Why is this happening to me? What am I supposed to learn today? They will instead rage at the experience and say that it is not fair that we had this experience. We shouldn't have had it now. You may look at the COVID response. Some people simply stood on the sidelines and raged. They tried to blame someone. They tried to account for this problem in ways that were convenient for them and put the blame on someone, perhaps someone that they don't like or a group that they find threatening. And this did not do them any good. The COVID did not stop because they got angry about it. The others, those who confronted COVID, looked at it as a problem and a solution. That is, this was something that they needed to react to, and many of you did. The questions put before you: will you do something simple? Will you put on a mask for another? Even though it is annoying, even though it is uncomfortable for your independence, do you believe in those around you enough that you will take steps to protect them, even if the protection is not perfect? This was a question laid before all of you. Many of you made the choice, even though it was unpleasant or uncomfortable. You made this choice every single day. You contemplated, as Dave did, whether or not you should go to a party. Very beginning of the COVID experience, you contemplated whether or not you should wear a certain type of mask. You sometimes did not live 100% up to the goals of protection. Everybody faltered or had to make decisions. The point is that this decision was before you every single day. You had to decide what you should do. This is engagement. This is useful, and it is a good thing that you are in a situation where you can put your actions to your words. The question is, do you care about others? If you acted in such a way that you cared about others, then this was demonstrated in whatever action, great or small, that you did. If you went off in another direction and argued with the virus and tried to blame, you chose to deflect, not to take action, not to respond to such an event. This is all human experience, a summary of everything that happens every day in human experience. Will you accept what has gone on? Will you realize that things are happening around you and address them without blame? Or will you spend your time arguing? Every day humans experience this, and it is not a bad thing. It is uncomfortable to make such decisions. It's uncomfortable to act when you don't know the consequences of your actions for any certainty. It's uncomfortable to wear a mask when you're not certain how effective it will be, or when others will not wear that mask. The efficacy of such an event will not very well support that action. All of you are in this situation every day. We remind you, you are always making these difficult choices. And this is why you have our empathy, because for a large part, you have forgotten what it is like to be in a place where you are all powerful, where you are aligned perfectly between thought and action. You can simply think or believe things, and for the most part, they happen before your eyes. There is no arguing for the most part in the world that you come from. So here you are learning how to do something that is difficult and new. We would suggest, first of all, that if you've made a mistake, forgive yourself. It is not possible to go through life without making errors. It is simply not reasonable. This is one thing that affects certain people to a great degree. They spend their time being angry about things that have happened to themselves, or being angry at themselves because their reaction was not perfect at a particular time. This is not useful for anyone. It is not useful to live in denial. It is not useful for you to spend your days blaming yourself on a decision. It might be that if you'd made a decision that was contrary, it would have been worse. It might be that if you had made no decision, it would have been terrible. So do not waste your time thinking about such things. It is much wiser to look at the decision and see if you were motivated by some kind of delusion or naivety. It is useful to look at the decision and decide if you should do something different or what another possible outcome could be. But do not waste your time over past events, blaming yourself and thinking that somehow you are inadequate or you have failed because you are a failure. This is simply not useful. There are many videos you can watch about stepping out of that stream of self recrimination, of constantly boxing yourself into a certain future, because you prepare that for yourself when you spend your time in permanent and constant criticism. You project a new future that will encompass the same kinds of criticism. There is a way to step out of this river, if you will, as your writer, Dr. Joe Dispenza, has talked about. We know that he makes videos and he discusses this. There are others who speak of changing the environment you're in through positive thinking or positive feeling. These are all useful possibilities. They are methods. Understand that leaders of these groups are not gurus. They are teaching methods that you can utilize to step out of the box that is created around you by your particular kinds of thinking. There are many other things to tell you, but we feel that this is the most pressing one today. Step out of your way of thinking, expand the possibilities of what can happen by pulling yourself out for a moment and seeing your reactions for what they are. Reactions that may have nothing to do with the present situation, but have more to do with a past experience of trauma. It is also useful to join groups, to talk to others. Any book you read on spirituality is going to be useful for you right now. We tell you, as the law of one, that what you are experiencing is perfect. What you are learning is perfect. Even if you've made a mistake, it is perfect. It goes down on the record in a gigantic human and otherworldly set of experiences. Like a gigantic book, and this is one reason why we picked Aeschylus to speak today, is everybody's record, what you call the Akashic record, everybody's error and mistake and learning and growing and being and becoming. All of it is here in the Akashic records. And all of the experiences that you have are valid experiences. The question is, how much of those experiences do you wish to continue? Are there any of those experiences that you would wish to move around, that you would decide I don't care to have that experience anymore. Many of the things in your life, we would say actually most of the things in your life can be changed. You cannot necessarily become another type of person. You cannot become an alien, for example. But many of the experiences can be viewed and changed with the right intention and desire. This is our first message to you. Another message that we wish to tell you is about the artificial intelligence that is coming about on your world. This is indeed a valid concern. It is a sort of acceleration of the things that have already happened, just like the illnesses that spread across the earth, and just as the recent political events have seemed to spiral, to go quickly, to become out of control, we also will tell you that some aspects of artificial intelligence will make these problems even greater. They will show an even starker contrast between what is real and what is not real. Everybody will have to spend some portion of their day asking themselves what they are seeing. Is it real? Is it fake? Is it produced? How do I know this? Although this is going to be difficult, it is going to throw much of your human experience into great contrast. It is the next step in your awareness and understanding. It is important, it is essential that humans learn the difference between truth and reality, between truth and what you call conspiracy theories. May not seem true, but young people today know fairly well the difference between what is not real and what is real. They are young enough to observe and see the reactions of people, not just the reactions of what they view on the internet, for example. They can see, for example, who is watching the internet, and they can see why they are watching the internet. They are watching carefully. And this will be a sort of demonstration again of how it is essential to understand the information on the net, how it is essential to distinguish, again, the truth from the reality. It will be necessary for your politicians to address these issues. They have failed to address these issues. So, for example, they have failed to contract a law that would prevent the harassment of victims of crimes. They have not said, for example, you cannot post the address of certain people for revenge. They have had many years to do this, but they have not. We must ask, why not? And one reason is because it is to the political advantage of some people to harass those who are not protected, who are not in power. So, this is going to create a sort of environment where the pressure is greater and greater, where the problems presented by the fake information become so severe that they have to be addressed. It will cause a great change to your society. It will change the way things are viewed. It will change the way the government is run. And it is a bit of a shock to your system, as it were. Many of the systems that exist will be shocked out of existence. They will change their powers. They will perhaps even lose their powers. It is not so difficult for a regular person, for an average person, to create a sort of bot that changes the way things are perceived. It is not difficult at all. And this, in some ways, creates a level playing field. It is merely a question of who has the most technical ability to create the best bot. And that will render great change in powers. It will mean that those who have power will strive to consolidate their power, to keep it in a particular place, because they are fearful that the power dynamic will change. This will move in many directions, not unlike the experiences in places like the United States in the past 5 years. Things will indeed go very haywire. They will be difficult to manage. It will be up to the leaders of the society to continue to assure the people that things are being done, that changes are happening, and that the nation itself is secure. They will have not much choice in doing this. This is one way that, let us call it spirit, forces humans to move forward, to address the issues that they have not addressed, to move into a place of engagement as opposed to a place of denial. For those of you who are living in engagement, who are trying to move through the problems that exist in your culture, we praise you and thank you. We understand that this is not a good time. It is not easy in some ways to live. It is not carefree as perhaps other times came closer to, but it is an important time. We would remind you that you chose this time. This might be something you wish to argue against, but it is the truth. You chose this time and place to be born. You chose to learn things that you have learned. Accept this and know that you are learning them. Even if you are not sure of the path, you are still learning. Even if you are off the path and misunderstanding, you are still learning, for misunderstanding leads eventually to understanding. Even if that takes 10 lifetimes, it leads ultimately to the same place. There is no light without dark. Console yourself with the understanding that you are learning more. You are learning different things than people at different times. In some ways, this makes you extremely special. It makes you very active. It makes you very real. It makes you able, in a sense, to do things that humans were not able to do before. We repeat this. You are now able to do things that humans were not able to do before. So perhaps this time that you are living, it is not so terrible. It is not so bad. Might be useful also to look at other times in history where you were not able to do these things, where you were not free to speak about such things, perhaps where it was dangerous even to think such things. This is not that time, and in some sense, it is much better than that time, although there will be different problems. In many ways, and now is an electric time, a time of vast and rapid change, a time of total engagement if you are ready to put such engagements before you. If you are willing to decide, sometimes I will make an error as I assess this new information and I will learn from that error and then I will move on. For those of you who are living in some degree of uncertainty, who do not know what the difference is between the truth and the falsehood, now is a time for you to discover that. Now is the time for you to step out to some degree of notions you perceived from the past and learn new things. It is a time that, in some sense, will welcome you. And that is a useful thing. It is useful to know that you are here for a reason, that something is positive about these negative experiences. For those of you who feel a bit lost, who are not certain what the truth is, we would suggest that you start by listening to yourself. Quiet and meditation. Get away from all of the machines, all of the things that are telling you who you are and what you are supposed to do. Spend time alone. This will require at least 48 hours of non engagement with other voices, although it might be useful to speak to other humans, away from these voices directing you towards more and more unpleasant and extreme feelings. It will be necessary to step out of them and to spend some time truly thinking not just about who you are, but about what has formed you. Why have you come here? What experiences in the past have affected me in such a way that I am no longer able to move forward with any confidence whatsoever? This is a beginning. and understand that the universe is patient, even for those who spend 1,000 lifetimes living in what we might consider a bit of a shaded place. They will eventually come back to the same source, the source that we call the One. All of you will return to the One. All of those you have loved in this lifetime will return also to the One, and you will be together with them in a sort of perfect place, in a sort of heaven. We don't want to say that heaven is passive, for it is not. We are here today to deliver these messages. But the heaven place that you think of is calmer. It is full more of wisdom. We are not so affected by these extremes of emotion. We have clearer intentions and we work together a bit better because we are not affected by the gravity that you have on your planet. To all of you, we would say, welcome. Welcome to your life here on Earth. Embrace these aspects, for there are many who wish to experience these lifetimes, and they have to wait in a sort of queue because it is not yet time for them to experience these things. Trust us, such people, beings, shall we say, are impatient. They wish to embody. The problem, of course, is that when you embody, you forget some of this information or all of this information, and it seems like you are trapped in the prisons of your body. We want to let you know this is not the case. You are here of your choosing. It is just a question of remembering, of finding out, of going through the life and seeing that all of you are touched by the same light. This might be called the light of the One. We will now cease this transition, sending all of our love and support for those living on Earth, along with the animals, the minerals, even the vegetable. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Check out my website if you are interested in any kind of channeling work or anything like that. Thanks so much.